Europe's economic journey has been one of remarkable achievements and profound challenges. From the economic boom following World War II to the present-day struggles with stagnation, debt, and energy crises, the European Union's story is filled with lessons about ambition, unity, and unintended consequences. Today, Europe faces a crossroads where the decisions it makes could shape its future for generations. But how did the continent arrive at its current predicament, and has Europe sabotaged its own economy in the process? To understand the present, we must first revisit the foundations of Europe's post-war recovery. After the devastation of World War II, Europe embarked on an ambitious reconstruction project, largely supported by the United States through the Marshall Plan. The rebuilding of infrastructure, industries, and institutions led to what is often referred to as the golden age of economic growth. From the 1950s to the early 1970s, countries like Germany, France, and Italy experienced rapid industrialization, low unemployment, and rising living standards. The formation of the European Economic Community (EEC) in 1957 marked the beginning of economic integration, laying the groundwork for what would eventually become the European Union. However, cracks in this economic miracle began to appear in the 1970s. The oil crises of 1973 and 1979 exposed Europe's dependence on imported energy and triggered inflationary pressures that were difficult to control. Unemployment began to rise, and the optimism of the post-war years gave way to concerns about economic stagnation. Despite these challenges, Europe pressed ahead with deeper integration, culminating in the creation of the single market in 1993 and the introduction of the euro in 1999. The euro was hailed as a bold experiment in economic unification. It eliminated exchange rate fluctuations among member states, reduced transaction costs, and facilitated trade and investment. However, the euro also introduced significant challenges. By adopting a common currency, member states relinquished control over their monetary policies, tying their fortunes to the European Central Bank. This arrangement worked well during times of economic stability, but became a source of tension during crises. The 2008 global financial crisis was a turning point for Europe. While the crisis originated in the United States, its impact on Europe was profound. Several countries, particularly those in Southern Europe, faced severe recessions, skyrocketing debt levels, and banking sector vulnerabilities. The Eurozone's response to the crisis, characterized by austerity measures and bailout programs, was met with mixed results. While some countries like Ireland and Spain eventually recovered, others, such as Greece, endured prolonged economic hardship and social unrest. Critics argue that Europe's insistence on austerity during the crisis exacerbated economic inequality and undermined growth. By prioritizing fiscal discipline over stimulus, the EU may have delayed the recovery and deepened public discontent. This period also exposed structural weaknesses within the Eurozone, including the lack of a fiscal union and significant disparities in economic performance among member states. Beyond the financial crisis, Europe has faced a series of self-inflicted wounds that have further strained its economy. One of the most notable examples is Brexit. The United Kingdom's decision to leave the EU in 2016 sent shockwaves through the continent. As one of the largest economies in the EU, the UK's departure has had far-reaching implications for trade, investment, and geopolitical influence. For the UK, Brexit has led to economic disruptions, labor shortages, and reduced access to European markets. For the EU, it has meant the loss of a major contributor to its budget and a weakening of its global standing. Another challenge has been Europe's energy policy. Over the years, Europe has made significant strides in promoting renewable energy and reducing greenhouse gas emissions. While these efforts are commendable, they have also created vulnerabilities. The reliance on Russian natural gas, for instance, became a pressing concern following the invasion of Ukraine in 2022. The subsequent sanctions on Russia and efforts to diversify energy sources have led to higher energy costs, impacting households and businesses across the continent. The transition to renewable energy, while necessary, has also been criticized for being poorly planned and implemented, leading to supply shortages and increased dependence on imports. Demographic trends pose another significant threat to Europe's economic future. The continent is aging rapidly, with birth rates declining and life expectancy increasing. An aging population places immense pressure on public finances, as governments must allocate more resources to pensions, healthcare, and social services. At the same time, a shrinking workforce limits economic growth and innovation. Countries like Germany, Italy, and Spain are already grappling with these challenges, and the situation is expected to worsen in the coming decades. Immigration has often been touted as a solution to Europe's demographic crisis, but it has also been a source of political and social tension. While immigrants contribute to the labor force and help offset population decline, their integration into European societies has been uneven. The rise of nationalist and anti-immigrant movements across Europe has further complicated the issue, leading to stricter immigration policies and a reluctance to embrace multiculturalism. Europe's regulatory environment is another area that has come under scrutiny. While the EU's commitment to high standards in areas like consumer protection, environmental sustainability, and labor rights is admirable, it has also been criticized for stifling innovation and competitiveness. The complexity and rigidity of EU regulations have made it difficult for businesses, particularly small and medium-sized enterprises, to thrive. This has led to slower adoption of new technologies and a reliance on external players, particularly from the United States and China, for technological advancements. The COVID-19 pandemic was yet another blow to Europe's economy. The initial response to the pandemic was marked by a lack of coordination among member states, with countries implementing disparate measures to contain the virus. While the EU eventually rallied to launch the next-generation EU recovery plan, the pandemic exposed vulnerabilities in Europe's healthcare systems, supply chains, and fiscal capacities. The economic fallout of the pandemic has been uneven, with southern European countries bearing the brunt of the impact due to their reliance on tourism and services. Despite these challenges, Europe's economy is not without strengths. The EU remains one of the largest economic blocs in the world, with a highly skilled workforce, advanced infrastructure, and a commitment to innovation. The European Green Deal, launched in 2019, aims to make Europe the first climate-neutral continent by 2050, positioning it as a leader in sustainable development. Additionally, the EU's emphasis on social welfare and inclusion provides a safety net for its citizens, reducing poverty and inequality. Looking ahead, Europe's economic future will depend on its ability to address these challenges and capitalize on its strengths. This will require bold and coordinated action from policymakers, businesses, and citizens. Investments in education, research, and infrastructure will be crucial to driving innovation and competitiveness. At the same time, reforms to the Eurozone's fiscal and monetary frameworks will be necessary to ensure stability and resilience. In conclusion, Europe's economic journey is a testament to the complexities of integration, the importance of adaptability, and the consequences of complacency. While the continent has achieved remarkable progress in many areas, it has also made missteps that have hindered its potential. Whether Europe can overcome its current challenges and reclaim its position as a global economic powerhouse remains to be seen. One thing is certain: the choices made today will shape the Europe of tomorrow.